Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everyone doing today? Welcome back, everyone. We are playing Axie Infinity again. Today is going to be quite a very special day for me, at least. I'm hoping you guys will enjoy this too. We're actually going to be having a live Q&A with the community manager of Axie in a few seconds here. And basically, we will also be doing a MEO Token giveaway, an MEO Token giveaway, which will basically mean one of you lucky people today, either watching in stream, in chat, will have an opportunity to enter to earn yourself 5 MEO tokens, which can then be bought for or traded for a actual Axie in the main game. So very, very exciting day today. I'm in the voice chat right now, and I'm just gonna undeafen myself, unmute myself. Hopefully, Joe will be here. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Awesome.
Fantastic, brilliant. I'm just gonna lower your volume a little bit, and then that should be brilliant. So, how's things? How are you?
Yeah, things are going really well. Yeah, we're just here in the office, obviously, working, trying to get this phase 2 of the beta shipped this week.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, from my personal experience playing Axie in the last few, leading up now to about a week, I've kind of fallen in love with the whole concept of the game. The thing that really drew me in, and I spoke about this in the first video, was the fantastic art style. And are you happy to kind of delve into the kind of origins of Axie and how it all came to be and who are the geniuses behind this fantastic game?
Yeah, definitely. I think the genesis story for Axie Infinity is actually quite interesting. So a lot of us, we were actually early members of the CryptoKitty community.
Right.
And that was actually my kind of introduction, or the first time that I actually purchased Ether was to start playing CryptoKitties. So a lot of us, saw the potential and thought that it was really intriguing, the idea of putting a game asset on the blockchain. Um, However, yeah, we played CryptoKitties. It was, kind of a simplistic, kind of just only breeding game, and we thought, why not more? So the kind of vision for Axie Infinity started with our CEO, Trung, and he was also a CryptoKitty player, and yeah, this idea for a kind of Pokemon Tamagotchi kind of inspired universe and kind of sprung forth from those initial days. And I think quite luckily for us, Trung, he kind of saw the opportunity and saw that it was a really kind of interesting space to be in, and actually started working on Axie Infinity with Masamune, our art director and game designer, in early January. So
Wow.
yeah, I think we've had, we're able to kind of capitalize on a moment where, and I think, being able to start so early has given us kind of a advantage in terms of being able to kind of push out some really innovative features that have kind of pushed the space forward. And for example, we were the first animated we're the first animated game on the blockchain.
Exactly.
A lot of the other games out there just have static SVGs, which we find not to be not that interesting.
And that's what I believe really well drew myself into this. Is I've been doing a lot of research into blockchain gaming and all of these kind of new and wonderful experiments kind of cropping up all over the internet at the moment. And you're right, CryptoKitties was kind of the first game to kind of really hit the mainstream. But I believe what really drew it back was the fact that you couldn't really do much with the crypto kitties other than really collect them and breed them. What I've been speaking to most of the community this week about, and yourself included, is how not just the art style but the animations, the fact that you're now betaing the battle scenarios as well. I think this is now defining the blockchain genre, isn't it? This is showing guys, right? The initial games such as CryptoKitties kind of showed what was possible, and you guys are now pioneering that technology and showing people that there is so much more available to gaming and blockchain, and the merger is almost perfect, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think CryptoKitties was an interesting proof of concept that when you give people and gamers control over their game assets, that that adds really compelling kind of reason to explore these universes, right? And the fact that CryptoKitties was able to kind of gain so much exposure within the technology community and even raise money from Andreessen Horowitz, one of the top venture capital funds in the world, with so little gameplay, shows that if you just give people kind of more freedom in these ecosystems, then I think that really resonates with people. I think it's generally kind of in line with the principles of blockchain, right? Or
Exactly.
decentralization, which is to give consumers more control. Because what we've learned over the last over the last couple of years is we think that we own our Facebook profile. We think that we own our Instagram. We think that we own our Twitter. But really, we're at the mercy of these private companies.
Exactly.
So I think this is all actually kind of a return to the origins of the internet, which is more open source, and with more power to the user.
Exactly, exactly, and this is it, and this is where I feel personally that it will really come into mainstream now, is the fact that you are not just playing a game, but it's the potential to physically own those assets, to never be able to be to have messed with assets, or have someone be able to kind of take those things away without your permission. And the fact that it correlates directly with collectible games, with there's other ones like trading card games. It's the perfect synchronization here. Now we're also live, by the way, guys. You may be watching this on YouTube, or you may be watching this currently live on Mixer. We do have chat as well, such as K Glitters in the chat. We got Caprani, we got Fireburns. If any of you guys have any questions throughout the stream that you want ourselves to kind of look into, discuss, answer, feel free to just drop them in chat. Same goes for YouTube as well. If you're watching this on demand, put the questions into the chat. We can do a series of these down the line that we can then look to expand on these answers. But the origins are fantastic, and the art style, as we discussed with the director, is it Masumone?
Yes, Masamune. His real name
Masamune.
is actually Tu, but that's, I guess, his nom de plume, I guess
Yeah,
you'd call
that
it.
and that's it. And he actually has some vast experience with art design, and this is a very unique art style. I assume whilst you guys were coding this game, he was almost like a perfect match for you guys with what you were looking to achieve. Correct?
Yes, so actually, Chung, our CEO, and Masamune have known each other and worked together in the past. And so when Trong he came, he had the idea for Axie Infinity. I think Masamune, he seemed like a really obvious fit for the game, because he has a really good understanding of the Japanese kawaii aesthetic.
Yeah.
Actually, a big portion of our community is already in Japan. We had a really fun meetup there when we went to go speak at a conference, actually, and people were so excited that the police actually came. Um, so so yeah, actually, yeah. So I think he is a perfect fit for our art style and kind of what we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, exactly. And touching on that meetup in Japan as well. This is the thing, in Japan specifically, crypto and gaming are huge, aren't they? It's a real boom at the moment, and the community there has been fantastic. Is this something that you think will soon be replicated, across much of the Western world, across the whole globe?
I think that's our outlook. I think the thing that's in question is just the timeline. But I think there's a quote that says people tend to kind of underestimate or overestimate the change that will happen in months, and kind of overestimate the amount of change that will happen in kind of months, and underestimate the amount of change that will happen in kind of years,
Yeah.
right? So, but yeah, I think we're seeing really, I think compared to past kind of innovation booms, we're seeing an expedited development cycle. I think maybe because of the kind of structure and the open source network of everything, or yeah, the kind of open source nature of everything that's happening in the space. For example, if we need a wallet solution, we don't have to build it ourselves, right? We can kind of work with someone else. If we want to kind of tackle the scaling issue, we don't have to build that for ourselves. We can figure out who's the smartest team, who are the smartest people, kind of attacking and proposing solutions and building towards solutions to these problems, and kind of work with them. And so I think everything is very collaborative, and I think people are generally working and furiously to lower the barriers of entry to make this technology more seamless.
Oh,
Because theoretically, at the end of the day, people should be interacting with the blockchain without necessarily knowing how or why, right? Or
yes.
people use the internet, but they, if you ask them, how the internet works, they probably
Very
wouldn't.
few.
Most people wouldn't be able to explain it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is it as well. Is I think that there is fantastic scope here, and I think that with the resources that are available to the people looking to do this more, looking to research into blockchain gaming, into NFT, into all of these areas, the resources are more often than not free to kind of explore into. You've got fantastic. I believe you announced some news this week with Loom. Is that correct? Where we're looking into different options, because I personally I'm a massive fan of Loom. I've been invested into a game called Zombie Battleground at the moment, and they're huge people. And this is something that there are major companies now looking to get a foothold in blockchain, and having you guys at the forefront of this technology is going to be good for you guys in the long run. What is your ultimate goal with Axie? Where do you see, because you started Axie, you started development in Axie, what, January, February time? The ICO went live middle of February, I believe. It's a very quick development life cycle at the moment. You're hitting these goals almost weekly. What when do you reckon you'll be happy with the final version 1.0 of Axie Infinity?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So there were a few questions in there that I thought were interesting. So in terms of our ultimate goal, I think we don't necessarily just see ourselves as a pure kind of game development company,
Yeah.
right? Like we see our mission as kind of allowing or facilitating the adoption of blockchain technology, and we think that gaming is at the moment the kind of most compelling kind of channel or gateway to facilitate that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I
And
think we really want to make Axie Infinity amazing.
yeah.
We think each day we're getting there. In regards to your comment on the fast development cycle, I think actually our developers are they all come from the competitive coding
Yeah.
scene, the international coding backgrounds, and yeah, so they have kind of a hackathon mentality.
Which is
Um,
fantastic. And it's refreshing to see this when you translate into the games industry. You see a lot of games that hit Steam on early access and never come out of early access. They're there for 2 3 years. Even games that do come out, such as Ark and things like this, by the time they've come out, the hype has sort of died down. But with you guys, it kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, you've now got the battle scene implemented. What's once that then hits main, what is your next major feature that you're going to be bringing out? Are you allowed to talk more about what's after battles?
Sure. So, actually, so the way that we see it is, we think kind of battles was, the low hanging fruit and something that our early community really wanted to see implemented. But actually, we're really excited about the PvE story mode as well as the Terrarium feature. And I think those are the things that will really allow and facilitate kind of a wider adoption of our game. So the way that we
Excellent.
see it is, people really like kind of sandbox style games,
Yep.
and to basically through the terrarium system to be able to customize the living environment of Axies, to start little kind of item farms, if you will. I think people will find that really interesting, and that will be kind of a sticky game feature that will encourage people to come back day after day. We're also really excited about the PvE story mode because we don't. I think long term, I don't think we see PvP as kind of the ideal kind of starting point.
Yeah.
And that should be more for the kind of hardcore competitive people.
Mm-hmm.
But we want people to just be able to kind of seamlessly drop into the Axie universe, battle some stuff,
Yep.
feel really nice, kind of explore the universe and the artwork, without necessarily having to kind of basically to learn in a less pressured environment
Yeah.
than PvP.
This is it. This is it. I think for many games coming out now, it's important to have PvP, and I think this game again has two real specific areas so far. There are the hardcore collectors that will spend hours, looking down, having a look at the marketplace, sniping the best trades, breeding the best axies to get the best body parts, and that is a really enjoyable, fun, and time consuming. I've spent hours and hours on the marketplace. You've then got as you say, the more competitive scene, which I can see people coming from, games like Hearthstone, games like Pokemon, that don't just breed for cuteness and uniqueness and craziness, which we'll show some of these crazy axies in the next video, by the way, guys. But they breed them to fight.
Mm.
So it's important to have the PvE elements, the terrarium elements, alongside a quite competitive PvP base to keep everyone happy. But let's talk more about the arena. Is that going to be okay? Can we delve into the arena? I kind of want to show off a battle scene whilst we're talking, and kind of go into a little bit more detail on how the PvP side works at the moment. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Fantastic. So at the moment, then we're currently you can see, because luckily we're streaming on Mixer, so it's FTL. So at the moment you can see that we're gonna create a new party. Now, how does the party feature and the battle parties work? What would you advise on a beginner setup? Are you looking to go with all of the same type of beast axes or bird axes, or what is the beginner tactics for yourself in starting out for your first battle?
Sure. So, the meta can be quite complex, but I think generally for first time kind of player, someone who's just making their first team, basically the way that I would think about it are that there are kind of I would say three main archetypes of Axies. So there's kind of tanks,
Mm-hmm.
and those are usually going to be your plants, your reptiles, or your aquatics, because those have the highest HP.
Yep.
And then there are kind of your fighters, which are kind of like they can do damage, but they also have a little bit of survivability. Those are typically, right now, I would say, bugs and aquatic as well.
Yep.
So it really depends on the move set. Um, and then there's your kind of glass cannons, which are typically your beast and then your birds. So those are the ones that you expect to be doing your damage. So right now, I think like a good beginner team would be to put a meat shield or a tank kind of up front,
Mm-hmm.
because that is going to be kind of targeted first. So generally, what I try and do is find my Axie that has a bunch of HP,
Yep.
generally like 55 plus, and then some high defense moves. Generally, I think a high defense move is 10 or 12 plus to I think some have around 13, 14 on some plants and things like that.
Yeah.
There is also some aquatic moves have really, really high defense as well. So yeah, I think generally kind of looking for a kind of meaty Axie with some nice high defense moves, putting that up front
Yep.
is generally kind of a good first step.
Yep.
And then I think you want to mix in. You also have there's type advantages right in the game. So
Yes.
generally, I think usually what I do is I pick one from each. Yes, they're not quadrants, but kind of thirds.
Yep.
So generally like one plant, one aquatic, one beast. That's kind of a common. That's a kind of common setup.
Yep.
Or one. Yeah, people. Sometimes people are using one plant and two beasts.
That's it. I think again, this is the beauty with it is there's not necessarily one strict strategy where there's not one strict strategy to win. I've been experimenting.
Everyone is using the same strategy, and it kind of
Yeah.
pays off to go counter to that, right?
And
So
that's
keep
it.
people honest.
And the meta will obviously evolve as the game evolves as well. As more and more people start playing it, there'll be more and more interesting techniques that are shown. I've come across some guys that have some incredible tank axes with some incredible healing powers. I've tried 3 or 4 different parties that in order to eventually beat them. But that's part of the fun is for myself in the last few days, I've probably run 70 or 80 different battles now, and the fun for me is losing to someone really, really good and then trying to beat them 2 or 3 times in a row and finally working out a combination that does beat them. You then run into another game and then lose immediately and have to start all the way all over again. So
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it is every battle is different. Even if you fight the same axes against the same person in another game, it will play out differently. So let's have a look now. We're gonna just jump straight in. We're gonna, I've been messing around with a few of these axes at the moment. I don't claim to be any good, as you guys in chat have been saying. All of my recent battles is just a whole wall of defeated. So hopefully we might get a little bit lucky today. But let's send out a team to battle. And
Yeah, so I see a question from Caprani in channel. He says, "Is a lot of the PvP essentially luck based?" So what I would say to that is that there is some RNG. There is some RNG involved, but if you do a simulation, the kind of a let's say 10 battles or 20 battles, the team that is kind of the better matchup against the other team should come out on top the majority of the times.
yeah, that's it. I mean, unless you get super duper unfortunate, if you do breed decent axes, if you have good axes, you should expect to kind of win, unless someone pulls something magical out of the bag. So here's one of the fights that we were looking at yesterday. This was one I fought yesterday whilst we're waiting for the battles to come back in. If any of you guys are sitting in chat at the moment and are in the beta and want to just submit a few battles just out there so that then we can review them, that would be brilliant. But let's have a look at, we'll skip the wall of defeats right here, and we'll have a look at somewhere where I may have won against Ewok. So we start this out, and as you can see, let's get back to the initial formations. As you can see, this is how the battle scene is set out. Do you want to talk us through what we're seeing here?
So basically, what I've seen is that
what at the moment
this person that you're playing has put their has put a beast, I believe, in
Yeah.
front. So I think they're not necessarily optimizing for the kind of ideal. It's not really the best kind of choice, kind of right off the bat. I see that so it looks like they're using one beast, one reptile, and a bug.
But yeah.
And so
And so
yeah, I think
yeah.
generally, it looks. What I would predict is that their tank is gonna gonna get DPS down pretty quickly, and you'll then move on to the reptile.
This was it, and
Um,
with regards to my side of the team as well, here is this was, I believe, one of my speed demon parties. So I've specifically gone out with this party on pure speed, trying to get the tank dead within the first shot of each one of my axes. So that was the kind of goal of this party here, and I mean we can see how it plays out. Just for guys seeing the battle scene for the first time, obviously at the top you've got what's going on at the moment, what the attack hits from my Axie and their defense. Now, it's important to note the way in which the point system, I guess, works and how much DPS you do to an Axie will depend on the attack skill of the attacking Axie minus by the defense skill of the defending Axie. That's I'm correct in saying that, yes?
yeah, yeah.
So
You can ask actually for the exact formula in Discord, but that's generally the. There's
yeah,
also the class advantages. Class advantage comes into play as well.
exactly, and that's something I probably should have touched on as well. Yeah, that's the basic battle scenario. Obviously, when you then incorporate the buffs and debuffs depending on what breeds they are, and you know that it does get very very complicated. So let's watch this. Let's see how it plays out. I'm hoping. Well, we know that I've won. I'm hoping I look okay
Oh,
winning.
the heel kicking in.
But exactly, and that's the thing. I love the fact that there's not just attack and defense. You know,
Mm,
you've got heals. You've also got, I believe, there's poisons. You know, you've got counters, misses, obviously criticals, as we just saw there. And these happen depending on the actual axis stats, don't they? You know, critical
yes.
chances are higher or lower depending on certain stats and things like that, right?
Yeah, so morale increases the chance of both critical strike and last stand. Speed increases dodge chance and also determines the move priority. HP, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then a skill determines accuracy.
Yes, fantastic, brilliant. And this is something new that we've got currently on our screens. You've got a little flame ball Axie now, and you've also got an Axie in, well, what looks in like flames. Can you expand more as to what these mean on the battle scene?
Yeah, so basically, so that little Axie, the green thing, is kind of like a little Axie spirit. I believe eventually those will have the individual faces or the unique faces of the different Axies, which
That would be
I'm really
awesome.
looking forward to. It's gonna be super funny. And yeah, those red flames that you see are kind of indicating that those Axies are in last stand mode, which is kind of like berserker mode, where the Axie will kind of go into a rage to defend its teammates after it's gone to 0 HP. And as I mentioned earlier, the probability of it entering last stand is determined by its morale stat.
Exactly. I love it. I love it so much. I just think it's such a cool feature, you know, because you think you're all wiped
So
out, and then
Caprani in chat is asking, will there be larger battles like 9v9? Yeah, so that's something that I find super interesting, and that can kind of mix up the meta a lot and cause some really interesting decision making, and just more interactivity between the community. So yeah, that's something that I would definitely love to see in the future. I think one thing that we've discussed is like 6v6 battles where three people each contribute two axes. But yeah, Axie Wars, Axie Clans. That's something that I would love to see in the future.
you know what? You know what I would love to see, especially with the 9 squares available.
Hmm.
Something like dungeons, you know, where you submit 3 each and you go against something something interesting. You know,
Yeah.
that might be quite fun. But then at the moment, we'll finish off this battle. We'll have a look through, see what happens here. But I think due to the speed, I think because we took the tank down pretty early, it left his defenses open. You know, I think the rest of that this fight we're seeing now is pretty much over. But one thing I also want to touch on as well is the animations, the actual fighting animations. It seems as though all of the different skills, all of the different moves have their own specific custom animations. Is that correct?
I think some of them over right now. That's just yeah, something about getting the battle system kind of out there
Yeah.
to show. But yeah,
But eventually, that's something that
obviously
will.
making the animations kind of more unique and special is something that we're going to be working on over time.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Brilliant. So, with with everything that we're seeing at the moment, obviously for guys in the chat as well, we are going to be giving away 5 MEO tokens to one lucky person
Hmm.
today. And what you guys have to do in chat, obviously, is make sure to be following Axie Infinity and myself on Twitter. Make sure to join the Axie Discord as well. For everyone in chat, I'm going to be putting in a command right now for you guys so that you can join it. Or it should have happened, and basically be in with a chance to win, guys. So let me just make sure it's all active. 5 MEO gets you 1 egg. Yes, that is correct. And these MEOs are in the main game as well. This isn't just beta MEOs. These MEOs will be transferred to you through the main Ethereum chain. So give me 2 secs. My bot has decided not to work, so I'm just going to copy and paste that in there. So make sure you join the Axie Infinity Discord. For guys watching on YouTube as well, the Discord link will be below in the description. And with let's have a look through the Axies now and talk about the morphing and how these Axies grow, because for one lucky person in the chat right now, they're obviously going to be given 5 MEOs and be able to get their first, go into the Axie lab, get their very first awesome little tiny Axie egg. So can you talk us through the process from getting your first egg to finally having a fully grown Axie?
Yeah, definitely. So the interesting thing is actually that our egg lab is currently closed. Because this is a market-based game, we need to be, cognizant of the kind of population growth rate that we're kind of dealing with
Yep.
as the game progresses. So we decided to close down the Axie lab. We ran it from I believe around June 6th to July 6th. I think, and around 600 to 700 eggs were bought, and then we
Wow.
decided to close it down. But we do have a reserve supply of MEO tokens, and 5 MEO tokens can be converted into 1 Axie egg. Yeah, basically what will happen, so you will redeem your 5 MEO tokens for an Axie egg. It will, after 1 day, turn into a little larva, so kind of a little cute blob. And then I believe after 2 more days, you will then be able to turn it. Yep, that's a larva right there. You'll be able to kind of press that button, morph to petite, and that will
Actually, we'll do that now.
that will kind of reveal the body parts and the genes. And then, but it'll still look kind of, just like a little kind of cute miniaturized Axie. And then after, I believe, 2 more days, you will then be able to upgrade it into an adult, which will be able to kind of enter the arena and things like that. So on the beta test, we have an expedited life cycle for these Axies, just so that people can kind of get their new Axies to the arena as soon as possible. But yeah, on mainnet it does take around 5 days.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And this process, is for me, I've literally I on the main account right now, I've got one that is morphing from lava to petite, I believe, tonight. So literally, I've just been sitting there staring at it, just like willing it to have some really awesome body parts. I think that's part of the
Mm,
fun of breeding for your first time. Again, there's a lot of nostalgia when you look at things like Pokemon breeding and things like that. For me, coming from a gaming background, competitive Pokemon battling
mm.
was through breeding the best, the best, most powerful Pokemon. So I'm really, really hyped. We're going to try and grow this one here into a fully fledged adult because I kind of like the coloring of this one, to be honest with you. And yeah, and so with that, then you obviously then grow into the fully fledged Axies, as you can see here. And there's different ways and different things that you can do with these guys. And one of them, that basically they're all governed by experience points, right? So
Yes.
so basically, through what I've found, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong. Once an Axie hits 400 XP, they will then be able to breed. Is that correct?
Yeah, so right now, each Axie is actually born with 400 XP, which is good. And it actually, so the first breed on an Axie costs 300. And what we've done to kind of limit the population over time is that each subsequent breed on an Axie will cost more. So the numbers that we're, I think, thinking of right now is that, the first breed will be 300, the next will jump all the way up to 900.
Wow, I like it. I like it. And then I can fully understand that. I'm just trying to get it out into words. But basically, it means the axes with the best and rarest, mystic parts and things like that. Obviously, those parts will become rarer and rarer and rarer and more expensive than to breed with these axes. So, for guys in chat and for people watching this and looking to invest, there are axes with all different types of body parts. So what I suggest for first timers is literally scouring through the whole of the marketplace, checking out all of the axes, understanding what parts you want with your ones, what parts you don't, because in the future some of these parts can be very, very rare, can't they? And I know that's the case with many of the mystic axes, right?
Yeah, so the mystic parts are the parts that are kind of basically have a hard cap, right? So, and one thing we do have a reserve kind of supply of origin axes, but basically at the end of the day, right now they're around 1330 mystic axes, and when everything is said and done, there should be just around 1452, I believe, is the number that I calculated it out to be based on kind of the probability of rolling a mystic part.
Damn.
Um, and so some of the mystic parts will be quite rare. And the interesting thing about mystic parts is that they're the only parts that will be able to be leveled up to level 4, which is legendary. And those
Yes.
legendary parts will have, really interesting kind of move capabilities as well as, really godlike special skins.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and this is it. But and a very good point there raised by K Glitter as well is the fact that you will also need that XP to evolve these body parts from Mystic into Legendary, right? So there is almost like an opportunity cost there as to whether you decide to focus certain axes specifically for breeding their parts, or focus on certain axes to develop their skills and make them even more awesome, right?
Yeah, I think resource and experience management is a big part of the game.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I'm just I just decided to check out the beta marketplace right here, and I've just come across a 4-part mystic. That's absolutely incredible. But
Yeah, so there are only three quad mystics, as what we kind of refer to them as on mainnet.
yeah,
Oh,
really,
yeah, I think even on data site, no one has rolled a quad.
wow.
So yeah, there are only three. So if you check, like I believe the cheapest one is at 50 ETH, which is like
Oh, really? Let me just get
50,
onto the
what
normal.
is 50 ETH in USD?
Guys in chat, let us know.
Yeah,
What's
it's only around $16,000 right now.
there you go. There you go. So at the end of the stream, we'll go back onto the main network. We'll check out some of the most unique Axies on the marketplace. But there you go. To get one of the rarest and most unique, and I'm correct in saying these mystic parts, then they're not going to be around anymore, right?
Yes, basically the supply will end up, you know, in 100 years, right?
Yeah.
There should be only be around 1450 Mystic Axes.
So there you go, guys.
So if you guys are into card games, I believe that the Alpha Black Lotus or card collecting, the Alpha Black Lotus from Magic the Gathering, there's only around 1200 of those. So the supplies of those are pretty similar.
And there you go. There's an actual. I was sent a article by Psychout the other day, I believe, about the how you value how you value digital
Yeah,
collectibles.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
I wrote that.
yeah, it's a really, really interesting read. So again, if any of you guys are looking for more research, to take the plunge into something like this, I highly, highly recommend you check out the Axie Infinity Discord, because there is some very, very, very interesting research articles out there. And the Axie guys yourself, you put out very, very regular content updates, very, very regular blog posts to keep everyone updated with the weekly ongoings of the Axie universe. But is there anything you specifically want to touch on right now? Anything that you feel we've kind of maybe bypassed? Anything that of interest
Mm,
that?
yeah, so one thing that I would like to say is that we're actually going to be launching a beta, phase two of our beta later this week, and that will be open to anyone who wants to try out the game. So yeah, that's I think super exciting. So yeah, you guys should come explore the Axie universe. Come to our Discord, hang out. I think the first thing that I want in this game is a family, a community, where we're all getting to know each other. I think the really special thing about a blockchain-based game is that you get your initial players on day one, and then you build the game alongside the community. So I think that's a really interesting development process compared to some of these other games out there where they have to kind of anticipate, what the consumer wants, anticipate what the gamers want, and then go out and say, oh, do people like this, right? Whereas we can talk to our community day in, day out, see what their thoughts are, see what they want refined, and I think that's going to give us a huge advantage in the long run. So yeah, I think generally the best way to start playing Axie Infinity is just to join the community and hang out with us. And you can ask any questions there, and people will be super helpful.
That's
Because
incredible news. That's incredible news. So we can announce now that the beta will be going live for open beta then for people to basically check the game out.
it's basically kind of an open beta.
Invitation. Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
you would call it.
That's it. So there you go, guys. Anyone that is looking to get interested, when do you reckon that will be dropping roughly? Do you have a confirmed date yet or not?
What I would say is at some point later this week.
There you go. There you go. And to find out when that will be, guys, make sure to head over to the Axie Infinity Discord. Again, links in the channel, links in the chat. Head in over there to be notified when this will be happening, because I assume you guys will be announcing it from the Discord first, yeah?
Yes.
There you go. Brilliant, guys. So there you go. Just checking out the chats right now. Thank you very much, Tim, for dropping that in the chat about the MEO tokens. So with this then comes the beta. How are you guys looking to incorporate the general gamers into this? So, obviously at the moment, a lot of the current user base, a lot of the guys that we converse with on a daily basis, these guys are just coming into this world, just experiencing Ethereum for the first time. And from my experience, having places, like an extension like MetaMask to be able to play this. It makes it so easy. Touching back on what you said before as well, you personally, considering you're one of the leaders in Axie, one of the original ideas guys with this, you started by investing in a game yourself. You started by investing in CryptoKitties. So that wasn't that long ago, and I'm trying to relate this back to guys in chat right here, how long, and when we're talking in time frames, if you think the average game takes a year to develop, maybe 2 years to develop if it's a big game. You guys have been coding since January. How long have you been in the crypto world, so to speak, in terms of Ethereum?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I believe I bought my first Ethereum just like around a year ago, and that's why I found out about CryptoKitties because I was kind of just looking at Ethereum-based news sources, and it was like, oh, some game is causing a huge amount of gas. This
Yeah.
basically means that the network was congested because of these kitties. So I then looked at it, and yeah, I've actually, I have been a gamer, really interested in games, and kind of obsessed at different points in my life with games for kind of large swaths of my life.
Hmm.
Actually, and so the idea of having a game asset that you actually owned really resonated with me. I was actually in a top World of Warcraft guild board, and during
Nice.
vanilla, and we were both banned by Blizzard. Um, because we were dropping through the floor to get to Cephon. I thought that was kind of arbitrary. Like in my opinion, if there's an exploit and you're one of the top guilds, you can't assume that the other guilds aren't doing it, right? It's kind of like an
Yeah.
arms race. So you're actually penalized for playing by the rules. So it's in my opinion the devs' fault that that exploit existed, and they shouldn't have penalized us for it.
Yeah.
But kind of in the stroke of a in one keystroke, you had thousands of dollars of value kind of obliterated,
Yeah.
and we had to kind of re-roll. A lot of us joined Death and Taxes and stuff like that, one of the other top guilds. But it was a pretty kind of profound and annoying experience that actually turned me off from gaming for a while.
There you go, and this is it. Is a lot of people are now coming back in. Similar stories, especially with the new WoW expansion dropping as well. There's a huge relatability with bringing it, bringing get. I know if you brought something like WoW onto the blockchain, it would never work. But the huge shift in owning these assets in game becomes a whole lot more real on the blockchain. So, how you doing today, Chuck? Thank you very much for coming in. How do you win MEOs? There you go, guys. There's a thank you very much, Tim, for
Chug is not allowed to.
Chuck. Oh, just as a shout out as well, by the way, Chuck Fresco is another content creator that works around the whole Axie Infinity universe. If you haven't already checked him out, check out some of his awesome, funny, wicked videos on YouTube. I think, Chuck, am I wrong? Am I right in saying you made a rap about Axie Infinity? Is that right? I think I saw one of them on the YouTube channel, but
I think
um,
he made like
uh,
a trap remix of a
yeah.
song that was made by actually, I think yeah, you guys should hang out. I think he's been a little bit busy. He has a big something on his schedule these days.
Nice.
But Cloud White Whale is the guy. He's the music man, and he actually made a Axie Infinity musical, which you guys should check out. He made the
Oh.
Axie Infinity rap.
And
Um,
that's incredible. This is something, again, guys. This is something that's been very unique, right? Is the fact that I jump in and out of a lot of discords. I jump in and out of as you guys know, I've been streaming, making content for 4 or 5 years now, and I love indie games. But the difference is when I jumped into Axie's Discord and saw not only how active it was, but how many people create content for you guys. How many people create videos, music, concept art, fan art. It must be quite humbling to see how active everyone is and how enthusiastic they are about Axie, right?
yeah, I definitely I think we feel really blessed to have a really kind of strong and positive community. And the way that we see it is that, right now the space is quite small, but eventually that, we want to scale. We want to get a bunch of, people introduced to the Axie universe. And when that time comes, it's going to be very crucial that we have, the right community, the right people welcoming these new players into our ecosystem. So yeah, I think,
That's it.
in a lot of ways, I see this as kind of like a decentralized company, right? Like
Yeah.
where the users are also kind of part of the team, or the players are kind of part of the team in one way, right? They're creating content. We don't have any the formal content creators on our team, right? Like most of the stuff that is out there is from our players, which I think is really really exciting.
And that's it. That I think that's the key for this game really is how not only how active the community is, because without the community the beta wouldn't even be possible, but how recessive the developers and coders and everyone from the Axie side is. It's not just a case of one way traffic of people going, oh, you should do this or that or this or that. You guys listen to these suggestions on a daily basis, and we come back and it's like, oh yeah, we've got this, or we're coding this, or something's coming in, and to see the interactions between the developer and the user is unique,
Mm.
and this is it. I just
To us,
I
this
love it.
is actually we're since we're new to this to kind of game development. This is I think it's helpful to us because we come in with a kind of blank slate, and we're able to kind of harness the new type of ecosystem and community that blockchain enables, without having any bad habits from developing conventional games. And to us, this is just how it makes sense, right? Like obviously you should be listening to your players. Obviously you should be talking to them. Obviously the players want to hear kind of directly from the people making the game on a daily basis. There shouldn't be any walls. There shouldn't be kind of any separation between the game creators and the players. The players, in a sense, the back right. They're also typically you would have a game would be funded by like VC or maybe a crowd, kind of a crowd. What's it called? One of those
Crowdfunding. Yeah.
yeah, like a crowdfunding, but still there's so many, in the VC case, right? You have the VCs kind of dictating, how the game development should be. And the crowdfunding, I think, a lot of people will just go in, they'll say, oh, this looks cool, I'll donate, and then they'll wait for an email saying that the game is out.
Yeah.
Whereas, our crowdfunders, right? Through the initial game asset offering, they get super interested in the game. They come hang out in the Discord. They offer their opinions and advice. And I think it just makes for a much more interesting development cycle than what
Yeah.
you typically would see. I think I'm not really sure what these other games are doing in the
But I
conventional
think
gaming space, but I assume that that's from what I've heard, that's not what they're doing.
yeah, yeah, and this is it. And I think because you guys haven't been, tainted by the gaming development world, i.e., you've never been in, a development, you've never been in a publisher, you've this is all fresh to you. You're doing what you feel is right, and the community are going, yes, this is, we've been waiting for this. So keep doing what you're doing. I think it's brilliant. The whole team has been able to develop something this awesome and unique in such a small like space of time. And with all of the different things going on at the moment, I mean, where where do you see Axie Infinity slotting in the future? Do is this going to be a game that will eventually have? For example, will it always be browser based? Do you have lots of ideas? I understand you
Mhm.
can't speak about everything, but what's the big future? What's the overall? Where is Axie going to be in 2 years time?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, we understand that a mobile app definitely opens the doors to many different users. So that's something that we'd love to build. Also, the way that we see it is that the Axie characters are so compelling and intriguing that we could make we want to develop mini games and that kind of draw people into the universe, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes, please.
So and other and so the right now we have a battle system. The way that I see it is that's this is the kind of the first battle system that will exist in this universe. And as the technology advances, I think we'll kind of we'll be able to make anything we want, just depending on what we see as the most logical. And so just like 'cause a game like Clash Royale has many different game modes too, right?
Yeah.
But you do have one kind of one shared rewards system. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'd love to see.
That's
There's
it.
many different game modes, and both PvP and PvE
Have
in many different games, right? Like right now, it's quite hard to get a blockchain collectible game in the App Store and the Google Play Store. But why not just a normal kind of app that uses our art and kind of introduces people to the Axie universe, and then they can come into our kind of more decentralized ecosystem through those means.
yeah, this is it, and I think it's yeah, yeah, I think it's brilliant that this is all happening. I'm so excited to be kind of involved with this and kind of having my axes already, um, and where there was a question, but it's escaped my mind right now. I'll come back to it, but
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at all over right now, and you obviously you've touched on. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot the question. But whilst we're doing that, I'm just trying to breed some interesting axes whilst you've been talking over it. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, with everything you've got going on, obviously your whole back end team, as you've said, used to hackathons. They're champions. These guys aren't just any old coder. These guys are a real masterclass behind them, and I think this game has some real legs. I think it's got some fantastic potential. I've really enjoyed talking with you. We've been in talks. This is the first time we've actually spoken on voice chat. So I've been quite excited to kind of have a chance to speak with you. And the great news about the beta becoming open for users is brilliant. I can't wait to kind of tell everyone, and just be like, oh my God, come and check this game out. I think it will be a real eye opener to see how many people can come in and try it for the first time. So very excited about that. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on as a few final things before we look to give away these tokens at all?
Uh,
I think to be fair,
let's
we've
see.
we've covered quite a lot of it at the moment, haven't we? I mean,
Yeah, I think one thing that I would say is I think our game, kind of naturally lends itself to kind of bringing in interesting influencers and streamers like yourself, because of the tokenized reward systems, because of actually right now it's kind of we're not we don't have a referral system active, and it's something that I think is something that we really want to kind of prioritize for when we decide the game is ready to show to many more people.
yeah,
So I think that one of the a smart contract enforced referral system is one of the most beautiful things kind of enabled by the blockchain, and I think
yeah,
it's a huge advantage that a blockchain game will have over a conventional game, right? A lot of people are focused on the limitations of blockchain games right now, but they're not talking, and they're using, and a lot of development teams that are in the space that are theoretical competitors to us, or think that they're competitors to us. They'll say, they'll make excuses for, why they're unable to kind of deliver fun content or fun features, and they'll use the limitations of the current, of the blockchain right now as an excuse. But I think what people need to do more of is to think about what are the things that blockchain enables a blockchain-based game to do that a conventional game doesn't have access to, and it's only by kind of taking advantage of those things that this ecosystem will be able to kind of carve out a sizable chunk of the gaming market.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it, and this is it. Is not only are the blockchain community and people surrounded in this, they seem a lot more open and a lot more available to share, technologies. As you were talking about, wallets and things like this. Um, everyone is sharing. Everyone is helping each other to gain more knowledge and more information in
Yeah.
this, and that is
I think that's kind of the community. That's in the DNA of this community. And so, actually, a really funny and interesting story that happened recently is that I guess Dapper Labs, the company that I guess created CryptoKitties or that kind of spun off from CryptoKitties, they they trademarked the word Nifty, which is a term that many people in the community or the ERC 721 non-fungible token community have started to use,
yeah,
and in a kind of, I guess, in a conventional industry potentially, like that would just be like, oh yeah, like yeah, that's something they took advantage of an opportunity, and it's just like a business tactic, right?
yeah.
But in this space, that's such a that's so, I guess, like antithetical or kind of against the principles of decentralization.
Exactly.
That there's actually been a huge, for this space at least, quite a big backlash against that.
Yeah,
So
I
I
can
think it's
understand that.
yeah.
But this is it. Yeah, and I think we've discussed it now for over about an hour now. So I think, as we're saying and reinforcing, I after doing my specific research into different types of blockchain games, I'm sure a lot of you guys already in the chat who play or who are looking into it, make sure to do your research and you'll find what I've come out with, which is this looks fantastic, it plays fantastic, and rather than, as you're saying, companies and people coming into this space looking at the drawbacks and the downsides to blockchain, you guys are looking at it from a different perspective, a better perspective, somewhere that you know you're utilizing what you can do on the blockchain to your full potential, you know and I just thank you very much for really giving us Axie Infinity, something to kind of take our minds off stuff, to play all day, every day, to collect. I'm now sitting on the beta, looking at all of these awesome Origin and MEO Corp Axies, just
Mm.
wishing them into the main account. But
Yeah.
it also gives everyone a real keen insight as to the how quickly you're developing it, and how when do you have any sort of rough estimations when the battle mechanics will be going into main? Is this something that's going to be weeks away, months away? Can you give any sort of time frame at all as to when that will
Mm.
will finally hit?
I think we want it to be not months, plural.
Good, good. That's cool. That's cool. That's all we need to know. That drip feed. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
I'm
Keep.
I'm yeah, I'm cautious when kind of putting out timeline stuff, because at the end of the day, I think we're
You
pushing
could
stuff out.
surprise. You could.
Um,
You have a habit in the Discord of surprising guys with some interesting stuff. So, the only way which I'll say to everyone here is just be in their Discord. Okay, literally the amount of information that you guys can grab through being in and out in that Discord, talking to people, conversing, checking out everyone's stuff. It's invaluable. Now, the final thing I kind of want to touch on, if this is all right with you as well, is looking into the Axie Index and some of the tools. Is this something we can look in, or can we, or should we save that for another video where we kind of delve into how to look into marketplace stuff and things like that?
sure. So actually, I see that Dan, his tag is KY2000. He's actually from nonfungible.com, and
Yes.
yeah, he's joined the stream. So yeah, it's good to see him here. And yeah, he's someone who's made a really interesting sales scanner for us. Yeah, so this tool site that you're currently on, that's all made by one person. That's Freak.
Oh,
He's one of our original, or early long time supporters and players, and yeah, he's made some really interesting stuff for us.
that's it.
So he currently has the Gene Reader. He has the auction kind of announcer. The thing has scared me from time to time. Basically, it'll announce out loud when a new Axie is put on auction or sold.
Oh,
So
see,
that's super interesting.
and this is kind of reinforcing the fact that guys are making this. They're taking the time out. They're not only creating something useful, but entertaining and really quite cool. I love the fact that there's so much coverage of Axie around. I see over Coinbase partnership is happening from Chuck. Um, I don't know if I should have asked that or shouldn't, but Chuck's asking.
I think basically what we do, at the right moment, want to get some very well respected names in the kind of the blockchain or the cryptocurrency community involved.
Hmm.
And we think that could kind of we will eventually we will need a microphone, right, or
Yeah.
something to get the word out. But one thing that I would say is that you want to be very strategic at when you decide to use that microphone, because
I totally
we've
agree.
seen with other games that if you blow up before you're ready, the only people that make money are the developers, and the secondary market and the player ecosystem, just isn't as healthy as it could be if you waited for the right moment.
Yeah.
So
It's
you know
very based on
people,
strategic marketing, and
yeah,
coming from.
I think we've spoken to some very kind of well-respected people in the space, and they're very impressed with what we've done so far. I guess
Exactly.
that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine, and I think that to relay that back to you guys as well. Coming from my perspective, I don't know what everyone else's backgrounds are, but from the games industry, you're very much along the right lines. You've seen it in the past. You've seen all of the E3 guys. Where these major companies go out and go, right, look at this game that's going to be announced in 4 years' time. It's the next best awesome thing. You wait 4 years, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't pan out. Where what I think with this is what you guys want to do is ensure you've got the specifics, everything nailed down, and I think that's this what every company should do. Is make sure you're good at doing the basics, make sure you're good at everything you want first, and then push full throttle and bring everyone in. But yeah, I mean, anyone
I
else in?
studied
Yeah,
I studied military. I studied military strategy, right? So I believe
good.
in like create in the one kind in creating a decisive moment and then for
2 seconds. We may have.
yeah, out. But yeah, basically what
Oh,
I
there
do
we go.
that kind of to that moment and then concentrating your force.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, the connection dropped out a little bit right there, but yeah, is there anyone else in the chat right now that has any specific questions at all? We're obviously just having a look at some of these things here. What I will do is I'll be doing another video down the line talking about all of these, and hopefully maybe get Freak involved and see what he can kind of expand on this with about as well. But we've got a lot of different well, so much information in this stream, in this video here. The Axie team have been one of the most responsive and helpful so far. There you go, Dafki. There you go. So there is nothing but praise for you guys from everyone I've been talking to. And
Yeah, Dan. I think Dan has been really interesting person in the space, and he wanted we wanted to look at like all the details. He's someone who really crosses what's the phrase? I'm so bad at idioms. Crosses his I's and dots his T's, or crosses his T's and dots his I's, or whatever.
And
Someone who really thinks about that. So
exactly,
I
and
have a lot of respect for what he's doing. And yeah, we saw, actually the main sales site that we were using, that the community was using, there was a problem kind of ingesting data recently, and nonfungible.com became a really invaluable resource for us.
exactly, and I've just popped it up on the screen now. I hope you don't mind.
Sure.
Dan as well. Thank you very much for the tweets and exposure there. But this is non-fungible, and they monitor Axie along with a few other things. But through this, you can actually keep up to date with all of the Axies bought and sold on the marketplace. That's correct, right?
Yes.
So anything
So
that's
that won't give you a total
no.
snapshot of what's happening, because there are a fair amount of off-market deals that
Oh,
are
of
happening,
course, yeah.
that requires a little bit more forensic investigation of the sales smart contract,
And
to get the full picture. But I think generally what you'll see is that there's people are spending hundreds of dollars, in some cases thousands of dollars, for
yeah.
these axes, which were really, I think, shows the kind of optimism about this product, and the trust and hope that the community has. So.
And that's it. And again, you've obviously got the marketplace, as we said, and all of the nonfungible.com stuff shows the marketplace stuff. But it's something interesting as well. There, you guys have the ability to go off marketplace and private trade with each other as well. So there are ways that I know I've been talking with people like Tim Bulani in chat, and Fireburns and Caprani, about them buying their first Axies and that. And there's, if you've got friends, or you want to do some cool deals, or you want to have a look at maybe, two for two, or, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. For example,
Yeah.
guys, you can even gift Axies to each other as well. And that's something that I'll be doing on main a few weeks down the line. I'm exactly, Tim. Josh has given me all of his axes. He wishes, but I might make that realities for one lucky person in chat a week or so down the line, where we may be giving away an axie on main, to one lucky person, just out of my own box. Once I've fully bred them and had my use with them, you guys can experience them for yourselves. No, but
Yeah, I'd also be interested in giving one of my own. Obviously, we were happy to from time to time give out some MEO tokens, but I like the gesture of myself giving an Axie to the community, or a community member, and I hope that they kind of value it at a little bit of a emotional premium, at least, that it came from me.
that's awesome. And Psych Out right here coming in. How you doing, Psych Out? Jiho, the master of giveaways. Should have seen him in Tokyo at your meetup. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Want
I
to want to
I actually
expand?
gave away two on a hot Tokyo night. I gave away two Mystic Axies, something that I may
What?
regret at one point in the future. But
Oh
I
no.
really love making. I love the. It's if you just give someone some Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
Then that'll make them happy, but like it doesn't create the same kind of feeling and bond and joy, as gifting an Axie. And I actually think that that's something super interesting, in the future, right? If if we kind of think of the reverse scenario, right? Imagine a Pokimane stream where some of her male, or whatever, some of her fans are giving her super adorable and very valuable Axies, to kind of in lieu
Oh.
of a monetary donation, which is kind of, in my opinion, heartless.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is it. I mean, now we've managed to. This is how the streaming world is evolving. Okay, to the point where you can now actually donate in crypto as well as normal,
Mm,
money. So,
exactly. And
one
I think the
day,
next logical step is to don't start donating NFTs.
definitely, definitely. I think that it's such an interesting you know, and something I've been kind of looking in and researching for this past week, and I think that eventually to have options like that, you know, where we can specifically breed axies and then go to people and go, I've bred this, I've built this over months so that you can have it. Like, take good care of my axie, please. You know, I think that would be pretty awesome. I think if ever that was to take hold, I think one thing that might be quite cool, as just a suggestion from myself. I know this may have been already spoken about in the Discord, like in the suggestions tab, but maybe having either a list of owners or having like a history of the Axie. So that, for example, an Axie's value might increase if Geo the Great has given an Axie to someone, it can then always track that actually this Axie has come from the very man himself, you know, and
Yeah, a geo family tag.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, not
that
necessarily.
would be funny.
Yeah, and then people can create their own lore around it, you know, because if you go, it's come from this person and was traded after a major battle here, and you know, to this person and who held it and nurtured it and bred it for months until he offloaded it to this guy, and you know, I think it'd be quite interesting to see the not just the evolution of Axies through their life cycle from egg to Axie, but their evolution as the game evolved as well, and seeing where they all kind of came from and about and all of that sort of stuff. I think that might be quite an interesting thing in the future. But
Yeah, and I think once what's cool is like we could have you know, the winner. I'm not going to promise this, right?
yeah,
But you know, maybe tags that are attached to the different axes that win certain tournaments, right? And then
yeah.
so they'll always have, and then those axes would then become kind of like a set. And
Oh,
even if the original owner decided to sell them one day, you know, in the future, maybe years down the line, there may be someone, you know, feeling that nostalgia and wants to reunite that team.
the
And
fabled trio. Exactly. There's so many cool ideas. I could literally just sit here for hours with everyone and just talk and talk and talk and talk. So, is there anyone else in chat right now that's feeling lucky wants to put some words up in chat, and some questions? And whilst we're talking about that, I think, how are we going to be giving away these tokens here? As you guys can see, we are now on mainnet. Don't laugh, okay? I've only got 5 axes. All right, I'm still a young handler. You know, I'll get there one day. I've only for you newcomers, I managed to pick up an origin yesterday. Please don't buy off me. I was just experimenting. But yeah, so I finally found a semi decent half tanky plant axie.
yeah, you've been playing the market well and watching your account, and yeah, I think it seems like you're picking things up quickly. I mean, so one of the things that I like to do is monitor, you know, what you know, kind of people who are new to the ecosystem, you know, what they do when they join, and you know, what are their specific actions, and that's just, you know, part of the education process of, you know, figuring out, you know, how to basically optimize and make the introduction to our ecosystem as seamless and fun as possible.
That's it. That's it. And you know, and I kind of went crazy. I haven't stopped buying them. I try and try and squeeze in maybe one a day. I know it's totally based on FOMO. You know, fear of missing out. I freaking I gotta collect them all. But well, I mean, we're now we've now come away from the beta site, and we're now sitting on the real marketplace. So I want to show you guys, and maybe talk you through it as well, Gio, about the different ways of kind of looking through the marketplace. Obviously, it's auto set to lowest price, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. So these are basically, for a first time user, these are the kind of axes you'll first encounter. As you'll see, they all have different tags on them. You've got the standard ones, you've then got the MEO Corp ones, you've got the origins, And then if you go by filter, well, actually, I'm very, very curious to see what kind of mystics are on the marketplace at the moment, because as you guys know in the Discord, I am on the hunt for a mystic soon. I'm kind of pushing the waters here. Let's have a look at the quad mystics you mentioned earlier, right? These are on the main net right now, right? So
Yes.
you've got number 35. No, I'm a sucker for small numbers, guys. Okay, the lower the number, the higher place it has in my head. Okay, and I'm just looking at this number 35, Origin Quad Mystic Axie 50 Ether at the moment. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. So you've obviously got one end of the spectrum for guys that are looking, to kind of dip their toe in the water. But for guys who are seasoned pros looking to kind of really take this on a more competitive level, can you explain a little bit more about why these guys are so rare? We've obviously discussed that they have mystics, the mystic parts that can be evolved eventually into legendary things, and I believe, yeah, we also spoke about how these guys were only available for the initial ICO as well. Will, what's the chances? Are these on the market a lot of the time? Because they're quite rare. Do you still see a lot of the mystic trades, or are they few and far between? Like, for example, if you see one on the marketplace, snap it up, or
Yeah,
is
I mean, I think you can generally, find, you can find most of the mystics on the market, or any mystic trait that you're looking for. You can, I think there's usually at least a couple listed, but it's more about, finding one that's that's a good deal, right? The
yeah,
thing that's generally when you see, some buys come in is when, someone is offering a nice deal. So, for example, like earlier this week, I saw a mystic. So basically, to talk a little bit about the probabilities, and you guys can look at the article, called "How I Value Crypto Collectibles." I wrote that on Medium to learn a little, to see the exact numbers. But basically, the way that the Mystic system works is that for the origin axies, which are the axies from the pre-sale, when each one is kind of rolled or generated, each body part has around the 7% chance of being a mystic part, right?
damn,
So that's why it's so rare to have, something like a quad or a triple mystic, because that basically, requires, multiple body parts to have hit that 7% chance.
yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Is then it's not only increasing. I relate the whole box unboxing of the Axies to any sort of, the loot boxes from back in the day and things like that, and to unbox a mystic is an oh my freaking god moment. Okay, but to unbox a quad mystic, you've hit the freaking jackpot. So
It could be potentially life changing for some people. So.
exactly. And I know there's a question in here for Glitter as well, which is what's my personal favorite part. I think it's a hard one, but I love the Hasagi. I don't know why, but like, I don't know if there is one around that I can find, but a fluffy with Hasagi is
Mm.
incredible.
I
And
think
there you go. Like,
Hasaki, that's inspired by Yasuo of League of
yeah,
Legends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like that. Like, look at that. That is just, oh, I mean, obviously that's when that's for a year's time. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I'm aiming at. But
There's one that I really like. Um, if you search bugs, triple mystic bugs,
yeah.
I think it'll be the most recent one that was kind of born. That one is probably my favorite mystic axie. Um, you see that one?
Oh my god. The lagging. Oh, look at that. It's got Oh man. That oh dude. That is incredible. There you go, guys. So if anyone wants to snap up one of Gio's favorite axies on the marketplace right now, it's only a cool, calm and collected 96 Ethereum. For some of you guys, that's just pocket money. You know, for many of us,
I also, yeah,
it's our life savings.
yeah.
No?
I see another question from Chuck Fuego, aka Chuck Fresco, in the chat,
Yep.
saying, "I like to answer every question."
Of
That's
course,
why.
please, yeah.
So Jiho, that's me. Healing is a little too strong. Is there any thoughts on nerfing? Uh, so I mean, obviously Masamune and Chung are always thinking about the balancing, and I think they have access to kind of to figure out to play with a lot of the game mechanics and see. So we need to be careful about saying something is overpowered. Because it might just be that the community is not creative enough to kind of think of a counter to that specific strategy. And if we, kind of too hastily nerfed something based on, limited data, or just, what the community thinks at one point, that could have, we could end up having to backtrack. And, so we need to be careful, very careful, and, implementing something like a nerf. So, for example, just like to talk a little bit about the healing, right? Like, a lot of the meta right now is about kind of protecting, putting a really tanky tank up there, preferably with a healing part. And then some people are even like using Sweet Party, which allows one of the supports to heal the tank. But there are ways, theoretically, to get around that, which is like running a Toothless Bite,
Oh,
which basically has a mechanic that that allows to target the farthest axis. And to be honest, actually, so one thing that I would like to see, um, I need to chat more with Masamune.
yeah.
Uh, I need to chat with Masamune and Trung about this. Is that right now it doesn't? It seems like when it doesn't seem like things are distance, like toothless aren't targeting based on distance, if that makes sense, right? Like,
Yes.
so theoretically, right now, like I would like to see a toothless bite that you could use to target the middle axis, right? By like putting the toothless on the wings, right? Or something like
To
that,
kind of
where
come
so it's
into.
come into the middle to attack that sweet party or something like that, right? Um, so yeah, I think obviously we're obviously like always thinking about the meta and what's potentially too strong. But what we've seen is that generally it looks like the game is pretty balanced, and also that the fact that you can breed stuff, I think it also like makes the balancing on our end a little bit easier because you don't have just like it's not like League of Legends where
Yeah.
you put out a patch, everything is static, you get the data and they say, okay, like these are the changes that we need to make, and then you roll everything out, right?
Exactly.
Some of the balancing can be done by the community because there's gene flow in the population.
Exactly, exactly. One of that is what you're saying as well is an axie that could defeat something like that may not have been created yet. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
I think
or the person who has it. I see some really strong toothless bites with high morale, but they're on accounts. Then those people are either like saving them for the tournament, or they're just
don't
seeing
know
the game
about
as
them.
more of an investment, right? So,
Yeah, that
or yeah, they haven't thought about it themselves.
that's it. And I think that's key is as this evolves, Chuck. As this game evolves, I think that literally by sharing as much information between the community as possible, for the name of science, literally just going out and putting rather than having your most beastly three axes going out there, it might be cool in the name for science to just put in the most random parties out there just to see what the outcomes are against them, because you never know, there could be some strategies that all of us combined may find quite interesting, and then it's the case of the gold rush of trying to collect that specific axie. you know, or that specific breed of Axie with this specific move set. You know, I think having those kind of gold rush, or what I mean by a gold rush is like that hunt, that right, this is the cool new strat. Let's go get this for a second, and then you see it in games like Hearthstone where a new deck of cards come out and everyone's like, oh right, we now have to change the way that everything runs. But yeah, just quickly touching on this as well. Glitter just linked me this Axie here, Axie number 5296. Holy damn! It almost looks like a freaking like angel. It's beautiful. But yeah, and it's a reptile. I love reptiles. But again, I just checked. I think I just showed you guys. I just checked on the marketplace at the moment. The cheapest reptile is 0.1. So it's actually not too bad. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps things up. Other than the giveaway, eh?
Okay, so how do you want to do the giveaway?
So, what do you guys think? Would you guys prefer that I sent the winner the tokens directly, or would you rather watch it and you know, unlock and then unbox? Do these tokens come as?
Yeah, so basically, because it's a MEO token, they will redeem it. They'll get an egg. That egg will take 1 day to turn into a larva. That larva will take 2 days to be able to be morphed into a petite, and then two more days.
So shall we just give away the tokens as they are, and then we'll see back in 5 days as to what the what it was?
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy.
Okay, fantastic. So, are you? So for everyone that hasn't already done so, make sure that you've joined the Axie Infinity Discord. When should we just give it away to a lucky person in chat once they've done it? Because I have. Let me just see if this works.
I think we have one person who actually joined. Owl, I believe, is listening to us. I believe he's at work, so he couldn't join the stream, but I believe he's been listening to us from the voice channel. So if there was some way to involve him, I think that'd be really cool as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm thinking. Just trying out. What do you guys think? I want your feedback as well from the community. What do you think is going to be the easiest way that we can give these to you? I think maybe what we do is we've announced the giveaway now, right? I think we should give them 24 hours, which then enables people that are watching the VOD to enter as well. And then what we can then do is say tomorrow at this time tomorrow, so we'll announce it, or you guys can announce it in Discord. What we can do is get everyone into Discord, and then, you know, create a little giveaway room. So everyone that's gone into the giveaway room and said hi in the giveaway will then have access to this, and then we can run a random number generator between the amount of people that are in the giveaway, and we can then announce it through your Discord in 24 hours.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, is everyone in chat? Glitter, Chuck, Tim, Caprali, everyone. Is this something you guys are up for?
Or yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see, because I guess, you know, the people who showed up also would maybe want to have preference or something.
This is it, because I'd love to give it all. I'd love to give the MEO tokens to everyone in chat, or to someone who's in chat right now. Because there is quite a few of you guys. However, as you say, there's some people that are in Discord as well.
Well, there's I would say one person.
Well, Al, I tell you what, if the winner comes up as you, then I guess you can give it to Al.
I will play for Owl. Sense.
Okay, cool. So let's reset this. And let's put a giveaway in the chat right now, guys. Okay, it should be popping up. Prize will be 5 MEO tokens. Everyone has permission. Ticket cost is none. one. Max tickets, one per person. And we're going to open the giveaway. And all you guys need to do is just type !raffle to join. And then once you've done that, it will then collate everyone in the chat who's typed !raffle, and then my bot will be able to give it away. I'll show you that it's actually live and happening on here.
There's a problem.
Okay.
I can't make an account. Maybe you can.
Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can enter. Let me see if I can enter. Let me see if it works. Oh, hang on. Is it raffle 1? Sorry, because you gotta give a one ticket. !raffle 1. I've gone in now. So make sure everyone in the chat uses !raffle 1 in the chat. Oh, I'm being called by New York. I can wait. There we go. You can see your names cropping up on the side, guys. We'll make sure that everyone gets a little bit of time to join in. Glitter, !raffle space 1. Sorry, dude. Just want to make sure everyone gets a chance at getting this. You know how it is. And hopefully, you know, this is something we can look to do a little, maybe a few weeks down the line as well. You know, I want to try and, as I say, and as Jiho says as well, you know, we are going to be giving away a couple of our own Axies soon as well. So this is a trial as to how it will play out. If you didn't win this time, don't worry. There will be a lot of opportunities. It's going to be okay. And we'll probably... that is fine. It was one raffle. Yeah. if I win it, then it goes to sorry, what's their name? Goes to Discord. It goes to Owl. So is that everyone for now? We can do this. We can jump and we can get ready. This is gonna be the one. Good luck. This is the 5 tokens on main Axie Infinity, guys. I'm gonna do it live here so you guys know I'm not tampering or messing around with anything. I call him rigged early. Here we go. We're gonna pick the winner, guys. Good luck to everyone. Thank you so much for all chilling out in this channel. Thank you so much for checking out and being with myself and Jiho, having a little Q&A on Axie Infinity. The winner is... Boom! There you go, Mr. Tim Bulani, a brand new user. Tim, a brand new guy. Congratulations. There you go.
Wow, this is the first time that Chuck Fresco has not won a streaming giveaway.
Really?
I think, is the magic fading? Is the magic fading?
Oh,
That's
damn.
a question that we must ask the Axie Nation.
There we go. There we go. Chuck, unfortunately, it's the first giveaway you haven't won. This could be the new
This could be the start of a new streak. This could be the start of a new tradition.
Here we go. And I believe this, Tim, I know you. We've been, I've kind of been bombarding you with look at Axie Infinity. Check this out, and there you go. Look, I've been researching all night, so this excites me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy that you stuck around and you did some research, and yeah, you will now have an Axie of your own. She'll be an adult in around 5 days. We'll, feel free to ask us any questions about getting your MetaMask set up and things like that. But yeah, I'm really happy for you and welcome to the family.
And there you go. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And guys in chat, don't worry. I'm going to announce now. I know it might not be worth a lot for you guys who have origins and awesome mystics and things like this. But I think this is probably going to be my first Axie. I'm obviously going to cancel that. But this is going to be my first Axie. I think I'm just going to give away to newcomers and things. So stay tuned. In the next week or so, I'm going to be able to be giving Axie number 3837 away for one lucky person that checks out all of the content that we've been creating. So, Jiho, first time I've spoken to you. It's been an absolute pleasure, good sir. And is there anything you want to leave these guys with? Any parting comments at all?
Yeah, I think we generally went over a lot of things today. But yeah, it was good to. It was really nice to meet you. I guess over voice chat as well. And yeah, super excited for what's to come. Keep an eye out on the Discord for the announcement about opening up the beta and the phase 2. And yeah, I think generally we see this game as kind of a really kind of a partnership between the community and the developers, and yeah, it's been amazing to see everything that's happened so far. And yeah, so it
Exactly.
was awesome, and I hope I can hop on some more of these streams. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I think it should be some really interesting content to kind of
Definitely.
to
Definitely.
look
And
back on in a couple of years as well.
exactly, and not only that, but also for everyone who still stayed in the chats as well. For anyone watching this on the vods, if you want to get involved with some of these discussions, I'm happy to kind of have more than one person in. We can have discussions. We can look at all different types of things, whether it's the community or developers. I really want to try and just get people talking about this. So I think for our next video, guys and girls, what I'm looking for from you lovely, lovely people is to show me and send me in your most interesting, unique, strange, ugly, different, crazy axies, of whether they're fully grown or whether they're the petite, awesome, tiny, cute ones. Basically, I want to try and have a look at it all. I'll give everyone who sends me in their cool and awesome axies, credit and where credit is due. And if anyone does want to come in and talk about, if someone's bred that specific axie and how they've done it, that would also be quite cool. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I've been Joshbaked. Make sure to like, subscribe, tweet, retweet, everything. Really do appreciate all the love and support. And I will see you in a couple of days. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Peace.